I firmly believe shrimp and grits is one of the most underrated American classics. I personally hadn't experienced shrimp and grits until visiting Megan Kay and her family in Mississippi. After years of visits, a deep love of Southern food, and many plates of shrimp and grits, I finally found a way to make insanely delicious shrimp and grits at home. The grits are creamy, cheesy, and completely worthy of being paired with the saucy, tangy, and slightly spicy shrimp. The two come together to make an incredibly balanced dish. Let's make it.
The right sauce for shrimp and grits had eluded me for a while until I read about this amazing thing called BBQ Stock from a Robert St. John cookbook. The stock is magically spicy and tangy, but it has little to do with barbecue. One of the genius things about it is the utilization of liquid crab oil. The stuff is basically liquid spices and some capsaicin extract that tastes really pungent on its own. It functions like a legit flavor bomb in sauces though. It's so smart. For the stock, we need 1/4 cup of white wine, 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of whole grain mustard, 1 tablespoon fresh lemon juice, a 1/2 tablespoon of hot sauce, a 1/2 tablespoon of liquid crab oil, paprika, 1 tablespoon of Creole, and 1 clove of minced garlic. Mix this together and bring it to a boil over medium heat. We can let this cool and store it till the final dish. We're going to reduce this down at the end, so no need to cook this much further now. So, my grocery store only carries quick cooking grits or polenta. I'd much rather use stone ground polenta in this case, and from what I can tell, the real difference is just polenta is yellow corn and grits is white corn. Yell at me all you want, but it's delicious. Measure out a 1/2 cup of your grits, along with 1 cup of half and half and 1 cup of water. I like to add 1/2 of a jalapeno minced, along with 1 clove of minced garlic. To make these grits as luxurious as possible, we'll add 55 grams of cream cheese along with 80 grams of cheddar cheese. At the stove, we'll cook our garlic and jalapeno in a tablespoon of butter until just fragrant. Add your liquid and bring it to a simmer. Strap in at the stove because once the grits go in, it's best to keep stirring. Add them slowly to the pot and continue stirring. These need about 15 minutes over medium-low heat to fully cook and hydrate. You don't want any crunchy uncooked pieces in here. Season these with a few dashes of hot sauce and a little more of the Tony's or your Creole seasoning. Add in your cream cheese and stir until completely melted. Add your cheddar cheese in 3 batches until smooth and melted as well, and these are ready to go. The texture can easily be adjusted with a little water if it's too thick for you. Store them covered on the stove until you're ready to plate. I think these would be perfectly paired with the short ribs I made a few weeks ago as well if you're feeling bad. For the shrimp part of this meal, we need roughly a pound of shrimp. These are size 21 and 25, and honestly, I find that to be a little bit big. I like the flavor and texture of 31-40 shrimp more. Shrimp are sized by the amount of shrimp per pound, so the smaller the number, the larger the shrimp. We also need 2 links of andouille sausage that we'll cut into coins. Dice 2 bell peppers into a fine dice like you see on screen. I like to save these tops and bottoms. I'd call those Megan Kay pieces. She likes those with hummus. I also like a whole shallot in the veggie mix for a nice onion flavor. These are going to be cooked in the pan with the sauce, so don't worry about perfect cuts here. Slice 1 green onion and we're good to go. Gather all your ingredients, the shrimp, the stock, the Creole seasoning, sausages, and veg, and we are ready to put this whole thing together. Get a large pan over medium heat and we'll fry the sausage first so we can have some nice fat to fry the veggies in. I like to get these nice and brown and a little bit crispy before taking them out of the pan. Leave the fat that's in the pan and add the peppers and shallot to it. Saute those over medium heat until soft and translucent, probably about 2 minutes or so. Remove these from the pan and wipe out any bits left. Add enough olive oil to coat the bottom of the pan and leave it over medium-high. Add your shrimp and cook them most of the way on the first side. By leaving them on the first side, we can actually get some nice browning on the shrimp without overcooking them. Flip them once they're almost cooked and remove them from the pan. We're going to need to reduce that stock now into a sauce, and the shrimp would overcook in the time that it takes to reduce. Add back the veggies and sausage, then pour in all the stock you made earlier. Let the stock come up to a simmer and reduce it by half. Once you see that the stock has thickened, add a few more shakes of Creole and turn the heat off. We don't want there to be any flame while we mix in our butter or it may not emulsify. Add 2 tablespoons of cold cubed butter a little at a time and mix until the sauce is smooth and glossy. If you see streaks of oil kind of pulling up, add a little bit of water to the pan and it should re-emulsify. Add back in your shrimp to warm through and then toss in the green onions we cut earlier. We are now good to marry the shrimp to the grits. In a plate or a bowl, lay down a bed of these beautifully creamy cheese grits. Top that with the shrimp mixture and dig into what may be the most comforting dish you have all season. This really is a perfect dish for the shorter, cooler days of fall. It's spicy, it's tangy, it's shrimpy, it's meaty, it's comforting, it's everything you want it to be. If you are not a shrimp and grits fan, I can almost guarantee this would change your mind. I was not a shrimp and grits person until I had it in the right context, and I fell in love. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like the video if you enjoy what I'm doing. For another comforting fall dish, check out my short video linked here. If you want to support me, consider checking me out on Patreon like these amazing people do. Cheers!